because it's Friday and we are so excited for the weekend. But of course, before that, we got to do this wonderful show with you. I am joined, as always, by my good friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Bowling and Derrick Bittner. And it's the end of the week. We're excited, and I'm finally going to get to play some Zelda this weekend. I can't wait. I can't wait. I've barely played like 2 hours of it so far, but we can talk about that a little later. How are you guys doing?
Man, I'm great. I already beat Zelda, man.
I hate you. I hate you.
Where this? Oh,
people are saying
muted.
Oh, are we muted?
I don't see you. Are you sure?
So, a lot of people are saying no sound. I'm not sure if I know it was mentioned.
Let me double check here.
Anymore.
I forgot to pop out the chat.
Oh, okay. I'm like I see your audio.
Normal now.
Okay.
Good now.
Ash, you want to just restart for?
I am.
Okay.
I'm going to just to make the podcast preparation easier, the audio version easier. So, with that said, are we good now?
I think so.
Clearly,
Okay.
I think everybody just kind of was on a little bit of a delay.
Okay, cool. Here we go then. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 57 of the GVGcast. It's Friday. We're here. We're excited for the weekend, but of course, we're also just as excited to do this show with you wonderful folks. I am joined, as always, by my good friends and GVG co-founders, Steve Bowling and Derrick Bittner. And guys, how you doing?
I'm great.
Good. I
bet.
Good, I guess. I mean, yeah.
I'm in that Zelda afterglow right now.
Yeah.
I hate you. You are in the afterglow, and I've barely played it for 2 hours so far.
I'm doing better than Ash. I will say that, but I've not played a lot because my copy has been claimed by Amy's oldest son.
Oh, of course.
Man.
And,
I don't mean to flex, but I'm literally staring at 3 copies of this game right now. And John has mailed me a 4th, and I have 2. Yeah, I bought too much Tears of the Kingdom stuff.
Apparently.
I'm going to give away a bunch of it, though. So
I am so jealous. Work has been insane for me this week, and I just haven't had time. But I should have a pretty open Saturday tomorrow, so I'm planning on vegging Zelda. I literally just got Ultra Hand. That's all I've done.
Oh my goodness, man! I don't know how you had the restraint to put it down, because I'm gonna give you a public shaming for this, and I have to. And you knew it was coming when I called you out in our Discord. This man played DLC for Theater Rhythm with some of the free time he had.
I own that. I perfectly own that.
I do.
Here's
it actually worked out because, like, again, kid was playing, so I'm like, well,
that's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
Here's the only reason why. It's because it's the Chrono DLC. If it was any other DLC, sure, I'd have waited. But it's Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross music, man. That comes first. It just does. It has to.
I understand that. I definitely get that to a degree. For me, it was just, for me, a Zelda is like a once in a decade event. Well, I should clarify, a AAA, like, brand new Zelda, not a re-release, but so for me, I took time off work. I had friends fly in from out of town, and we literally just made a dent in my couch and played this game nonstop for all of our waking hours. And despite beating it, I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what you can do in it.
It seems like it. I've literally just been wandering around. Like, I had a destination. Like, I'm going to go to Kakariko first. No reason. I just decided on Kakariko. I was curious about all these things they were talking about there. And then along the way, just this, finding stuff, and then just opening up paths and more. And I keep circling Hyrule Castle because there's just stuff to do.
I can't wait. I already got that sense of, like, excitement again, just leaving the first shrine and seeing the others and just, like, knowing that I have to figure out how to get to them on my own way. I'm just like, the excitement is coming back, and that Breath of the Wild mindset is coming back, and I am so excited. And, like, that opening, that intro is one of the coolest, most exciting, interesting intros of any Zelda game ever. Like for one of the first times ever, the story pulled me right in for Zelda. Like, usually narrative isn't a focus for Zelda, and that's cool, but man, that opening got me so invested right away. And
it really feels like they found a way to have everything. And I've barely played, so I don't know if this stays true. But from the pieces I've seen, Ash, it seems like a lot of it does tie into that main story. Like, everything kind of builds off of the events, and everything. It has a central focus.
I'm saying nothing.
I can't wait. There is one thing I'm going to keep harassing you about, Steve. I did get to finish one thing right before Zelda came out, and that is Horizon Burning Shores.
Yeah.
And it was so freaking good.
I deserve the shame. I absolutely deserve it.
Because we're supposed to do a discussion, and I'm still going to harass you until we do it.
I'm going to finish it, but they launched a beta of Street Fighter 6 last night.
I forgot about that. I got to play that. I got to try that out.
Yeah, me too.
I've been playing that, and it's so good.
But I gotta say, the final battle and like the whole finale, the final battle is dead ass one of the best set pieces I have ever experienced in a game.
I will admit my primary criticism of Burning Shores is that it does not respect the fact that they took a year to release it, insofar as there's no like, hey, do you need a reminder on the controls? Do you need a refresher on all these abilities you unlocked a year ago? And because I'm like, yes, please. I literally am so crazy inefficient at combat that I find the DLC frustrating at times, because I'm like, I have to go back and relearn all of Aloy's abilities that I had, which I had masterful control over at one point. But it's a very complex combat system that requires that you kind of stay immersed in it. And the content was not there for me to keep that level of skill. And so I kind of became intimidated and disconnected from it. I want to go back, spend the time, remaster the controls, and then eventually beat the DLC. But I am excited to see it.
No, that's totally fair. And I promise it isn't a flex, because I agree with you. But for some reason, I was worried about that too, but for whatever reason, I fell right back into it. And I didn't really have much of a warming up period again. I just kind of somehow slid right back into it. And I don't know how, because I agree. It's a complex system. I was worried as well, but for whatever reason, it just didn't work out for me that way. But yeah, I can't wait for you to get to it, man. That final battle is amazing. Holy crap. And it has me so excited for Horizon 3, whatever that comes in the next like 6 years. But
you know what I've mainly been doing just to have my own kind of flex. I'm doing it for all of you.
Okay.
For one, really do appreciate it. It really seems like the part 1 of the Zelda retrospective is going to hit 100K in 2 weeks. That's insane.
Nice.
And I'm super grateful that so many people have been watching that, and that's inspired me to really try to buckle down to get the next part 2 set. I finished the Ocarina of Time section, which is the next game to talk about. And that doesn't seem like a lot.
Oh, that's hours.
It's 11 pages long. That's 33 minutes.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
As somebody who was around back then as a fan consuming information about the development of that game, I believe it 100%. It was such a storied development with so many twists and turns that I'm surprised it's only 33 minutes.
I had to just you can't go and get it all. You have to just get all
there's the whole
the important stuff.
Yeah, like the various changes, like the visual changes. I actually talked about that recently. Like in my Zelda collection video, I mentioned how like the Zelda went from like this wildly different picture to Ocarina of Time. Like you had like Green Link fighting a metal guy, and then you had the weird Space World demo where he gets the Triforce, and then you have the final game. I don't even know if
I covered that.
I remember that.
Like I said, just like this one, I'm gonna have you guys read over, and just if there's anything I missed, please tell me, because there's so much out there.
I remember like being fooled as a kid into thinking the Triforce was in the game. Like this Brazilian lady convinced everybody that it was true with like. In retrospect, some very poorly photoshopped screenshots, but
of course,
yeah. I guess on that same note, Derrick, I should also thank our audience, because I always know and assume that our indie content isn't going to do as well. That makes sense. It's more of a niche, a niche audience. But my Mina, the Hollower discussion with Ant Dude, broke 10K, and I honestly didn't expect that. So thank you for all of you who watched that. I really appreciate it.
That's solid for indie.
Yeah, I thought so too. So it was a pleasant surprise, and I really appreciate you all out there who listened to it. And thank you to Ant Dude for joining me.
Yeah.
Good.
I was just going to say, we'll see how the rest of the research goes. I've started on Majora's Mask. I'll say this: if I reach 90 minutes, I'm cutting it there, and this might end up being, instead of a 3-part video, 4-part video, or 5, depending on how it goes. It's absolutely going to be my longest by the retrospective by the time I finish.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nice.
And part 1 was amazing, man. And I know we all can't wait for part 2. So Looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ocarina is my favorite like story within Zelda, like in terms of like the actual like behind the scenes stuff. That's the era in which I became like really into Zelda. So part 2 is going to be huge. Like I watched part 1 3 times. I liked it so much.
My gosh.
So definitely go back, and when part 2 comes out, that's going on the TV like instantly for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, another thing I'm looking forward to is shouting out our sponsor, our longtime sponsor, The Game Orb. And The Game Orb is a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage for the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. While games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu can be seen on the channel, along with others, The Game Orb will also now be adding Splatoon 3, Super Mario Sunshine, and Fall Guys to the gaming collection. So be sure to subscribe to The Game Orb at the link in the description. And of course, as always, I am posting a link to his channel in our YouTube chat right now.
Please go sub, show him some love.
Please. He's been supporting us from the very, very beginning on the top tier of our Patreon. So please do show him some love. Also, I got some breaking news. Your favorite kind of breaking news, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Puppy Wuppy, formerly Spicy Atanda, is back at the Fight of Founder tier.
Nice.
Thank you so much. We all really appreciate that, Puppy Wuppy, which is your new name. Also, we got some patron birthday shout-outs. GA Studios last month, Jessica on the 1st, Mysery on the 11th, Cassius335 on the 14th, and one of our newest patrons, The Game Jamie, I love that name, on the 15th. So happy birthday to you all, and thanks so much for being patrons and being in our audience.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We super appreciate you. One more thing, and this is obviously a bit of a downer, but I think it's important. I would like to have a moment of respect for Brendan O'Brien, who was the original voice of Crash Bandicoot and passed away at 60 years old. That's way too young. So, of course, all the love to his family and friends. It's such a sad thing to hear. And
That's
he brought
awful.
so much life to such a special character for so many people. So rest in peace, Mr.
He was
O'Brien.
Cortex as well, I believe, and a couple other characters in that.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, Mr. O'Brien.
Hold on. I have a shout out of my own for once.
Please,
a
by all
birthday
means.
shout out. My daughter's going to be 10, like
Hey,
tomorrow.
that's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
So happy birthday, baby. If you're watching this, which you shouldn't because I cursed you, I love you very much. Happy birthday.
Nice. I love that. And you know what? My wife's birthday was just recent.
Hell yeah.
So happy birthday to my amazing, wonderful, loving wife. And I love you to death. All right. With that said, speaking of death, we have we have Mortal Kombat 1 to talk about.
What a segue.
Well, should we do some should we do some super chats though? We do seem to have
I just kind of wanted to keep things going and do super chats later, but I can go ahead and do some now. Yeah.
At least get a few, I'd say.
We just have a lot
to.
News.
I understand.
But for sure,
I get it.
So starting off with Disney Duncan with $5. Thank you so much. Asking, what guest characters do you want to see in Mortal Kombat 1? I'd personally like to see Pennywise. That's a good question.
That's a pretty good choice.
Oh man, that's a great one.
It's finally time. It was teased enough. It almost happened. Come on, bring in Ash.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It was not just
That would be
teased.
cool.
It was like happening, and something fell apart at the last second because he was modeled. Voice clips were found for him in game. And there was even like an email that went out that had like Ash from Evil Dead is copyright of such and such in an official email that got sent to players. So yeah, definitely whatever that was, it collapsed very late in the process, and we got the Joker who I didn't love him.
Yeah.
I would like RoboCop back. I just thought he was hilarious. Like he was so out of place.
He was. And speaking of out of place, I'm going to throw a curveball here because my wife and I are such big fans of the Fast and the Furious franchise. Get Dom Toretto in there, man. All about family.
Oh man.
Get Dominic Toretto.
You know what?
Get
Kratos back. Like get 2018 God of War Kratos in there. That would be dope.
That would be awesome. Definitely. I'd love all of the above for sure. But I can already see with Taniac. What even? LOL. I know Dom Toretto is a weird one, but I love the Fast franchise. So I haven't seen Fast 10 yet, though. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Thank you so much, Disney Duncan. Next up is Alan Wilkinson with £2. Thank you. Ed Boone, skin or cameo? Same for Tyler Lansdowne. Probably. We don't know the full nature of cameo characters yet, so I guess a skin.
We don't, but my guess is that since they talk about a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage, is that what they mean by cameo fighters? It's just actors.
No, cameo fighters are fighters that are outside the normal roster that are assist characters.
Oh.
So like think of assist trophies in Smash essentially.
Okay.
A little bit like that. Okay, I wasn't sure if they were more like Echo Fighters or not.
No, it's like an assist trophy, except you get to choose one, like yourself. You get to choose who it is, and then you tag
I've heard it
them
compared to Marvel vs. Capcom 1.
Which is really interesting. I have too.
Yeah. MVC 1 didn't have a separate roster, though. So this is like, it's a little bit of both, right? Like, it's a selectable character on a completely separate roster.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, it's funny. Then I guess that means we'll be able to summon the Jean-Claude Van Damme version of Johnny Cage as an assist.
He betrayed Street Fighter.
Weird.
How could he?
That is such a weird, specific
thing.
No,
it's a great thing. Believe it or
I
not.
like it.
So
it
is deep. It goes deep into the lore of the development of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat started out as Bloodsport. That's based on the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and Johnny Cage was adapted from Jean-Claude Van Damme's character in that film.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
I completely forgot that.
God, that's a deep cut.
What a throwback, right?
Yeah, I totally forgot. Also, Caitlin with such an amazing guest character idea. John Wick. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I would be so into that.
That'd be good.
John Wick would be cool. For a cameo character, I'm going to go with like I want Meat back. Like just the weird, skinless guy.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of good ideas here. I'm into it. It's making me even more excited for Mortal Kombat 1, and I already was pretty excited. Next up, Jacob Tucker with $5. Thank you so much. Hey, GVG, thoughts on the Jumpstars Ultimax rumor that's been going around? Possible announcement or load of baloney? Have a great weekend. I have not heard this either, actually. I mean, I have to look into it, of course, but I could see it being real. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
There's a lot of smoke around it. I saw this come up in the chat earlier, so I started Googling while we've all been talking. Mm-hmm. And I would say that there's not enough one way or the other. The one thing that makes me think it may be real is that the logo that people are floating does look awfully professional and kind of lines up with previous Jump game design. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we've been fooled before, so without knowing about it before this, I wouldn't rule on it either way. But I'd say it's likely. I mean, Jump properties are enjoying quite a bit of popularity these days, and after the failed last game, what was that terrible one?
Jump Force.
Jump Force,
right?
After Jump Force, I feel like they probably need to clear their name and come out with something with an art direction that isn't absolutely mortifying. So
Right.
Imagine if that's the follow-up to Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh my God, that would be so sick.
Yeah, it sure would be. All right, one more super chat for now, and then we'll move on to some of the news we're talking about this week. Blaker36 with $4.99. Thank you so much. Just Raiden the farming god. Yep, we do see that in the trailer, and that is a perfect segue into talking a little bit more about Mortal Kombat 1. Thank you so much, Blaker. But yeah, we got the reveal at 6 a.m. yesterday. I don't know why they do this. 6 a.m. Pacific, at least. And it was a pretty hyped trailer, and it got as gory as Mortal Kombat has gotten recently.
It was such a tonal shift because it seems so nice at first, which is a weird thing as well. But then all of a sudden it's like, no, these people got to die.
Yeah. Everybody's dead.
Yeah. And it's coming soon. It's coming September 19th for basically everything except for PS4 and Xbox One. So basically everything. But it is coming to Switch, which is really cool.
Same development team as MK11 on Switch. So
right. So it's coming soon. Confirmed characters so far include Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kung Lao, Katana, Mileena, Shang Tsung, and Johnny Cage. And importantly, there's rollback netcode. Hell yes. Every fighting game should have that.
Yes.
So
I was hyped for this, man. I like the direction they took with it. It's called Mortal Kombat 1, but it continues the story established in Mortal Kombat 11, which I think is really smart.
So what's interesting about that, actually, is Ed Boon tweeted and specifically said it's not a continuation of Mortal Kombat 11's story.
That's a lie, though. And
it does seem like it would be. It
has to be. You have Fire God Liu Kang. That's from Mortal Kombat 11.
And they mention in the trailer that Fire God Liu Kang recreated the universe, which he starts doing at the end of Mortal Kombat 11. So, I mean, he can say what he likes. I mean, obviously he's the final authority, but there's no other way to read it. There's literally no other way to read this other than Liu Kang recreated the universe and tried to change it for the better.
And maybe what he means is that they're going to really go all in and stick to this new universe and not retcon anything out of the universe in terms of going back to before the reset. That's probably what he means. And by the way,
because 9, 10, and 11 were essentially just retellings and sort of expansions upon the storylines of previous Mortal Kombat games. I guess this is them going in a fresh direction.
Right. And apparently character relationships are going to be completely different. Like, this is a truly new reset universe for these characters. So they're going to have different interactions, different relationships, different rivalries, I guess. I love that moment in the trailer where you see Scorpion and Sub-Zero looking like they're about to throw down, but then they stand together against a new threat. And I love seeing that, just them coming together. Sub-Zero's always been one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters, so I just get excited seeing him anyway. But I'm really excited about this. Katana looks really cool. I love her design that we saw in the trailer. I'm really, really excited. And by the way, I apologize. It wasn't Ed Boon who tweeted. It was Benji Sales on Twitter who tweeted some details that Ed Boon talked about regarding the story. So that's what happened there. They are doing the usual kind of, pre-order thing where if you pre-order, you get Shang Tsung early, and, don't always love that kind of stuff, but that was always going to happen. There actually has apparently been a leak about the first season of DLC characters, which we're not going to talk about here, just in case
I need you to send me
want to be spoiled.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I will send that to you after the show. But yeah, just in case people want to be surprised, we won't get into that here. But I don't know that there's too much else to say other than we're just really excited about Mortal Kombat 1, and that trailer was fire.
It's a hell of a year for fighting games.
It is the best time to be a fighting game fan.
I read the leak.
Okay, it's pretty exciting, right?
That is, if two of the character names are the names I believe them to be, that is hype as all get out. I won't say. Oh my! I didn't even read that other name.
I love it.
My guy, I'll say this: there's guest characters in there, and they're probably the best in series history.
They're pretty hype. Yeah. It's pretty easy to find this info if you want to.
I'm gonna
send you the names in a DM, Derrick.
Nice.
I'm
Oh, you're already there? All right.
I found something, so I'm gonna take a look at the listing.
God. I guess I'm pre-ordering. I didn't. I wasn't going to, but now I am.
A lot of those
are good, right? Those are solid.
Yeah. Those are some. I can tell you, it's half existing characters, half guest characters.
Yeah, and those guest characters are real good ones.
Yeah, they make sense.
It's good stuff. I think I'm going to pre-order as well. I don't pre-order a lot of games these days, but I think I might have to pre-order this one. Obviously I want to get Shang Tsung, of course, because he's an awesome character.
It's also interesting because this seems to indicate that just because a character is a cameo character doesn't mean they are only a cameo character.
Right. And what's really interesting about the cameo characters is they are essentially what seem to be kind of like assists that you would see in something like Marvel versus Capcom, which is really interesting. It adds a cool new wrinkle to the Mortal Kombat gameplay we know and love. So
it makes me wonder about like the moment to moment gameplay in terms of like what the ebb and flow of the fighting is going to be that you'd be able to introduce them, because I can't think of a great way to have an assist in any previous Mortal Kombat game, because there's a lot of hitting people really high up in the air that happens in Mortal Kombat.
Right. Mm-hmm. I just wonder, they always somehow find a way to one-up themselves in terms of fatalities and just different ways to eviscerate and brutalize people. Yeah, even just in the trailer. And I'm just like, how are they going to one-up Mortal Kombat 11? Because that was already so incredibly hyper-violent, and they just find new ways to eviscerate people. And I don't know, I couldn't work on a game, be an artist on a game like that. I couldn't do it. Researching how people are torn apart. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I really couldn't. But yeah, really looking forward to everything. There's going to be a beta in August for people who pre-order. So I'm sure we're all going to get in on that, because it sounds like we're all going to be pre-ordering. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 1, we are looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and do a few more super chats and we'll move right along. First off, we've got Cooper Charles with $5. Thank you so much. If you give Eevee a Thunderstone, you get Jolteon. If you give it money, you get a Patreon. That's really clever,
man.
Wow. That's a good one.
There's this horrible AI post about Eevee, and evolutions. And that's
really?
all I heard in my mind when you started reading that.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I have
okay.
not seen that. Oh, geez. Okay.
You probably don't want to.
Probably don't. Yeah. Next up is TuneJ723 with $5. Thank you so much. Asking, would you rather only be able to speak like the Star Fox SNES characters or only be able to speak like Banjo-Kazooie characters? Oh, man, I feel like everybody would hate me if
would
I could
everybody
only speak like Banjo
understand me,
characters.
though? Would I be
Right.
understood? I don't think it makes a huge difference. I'd go for Star Fox, I guess.
I think I'd go for Star Fox because my wife finds the Banjo-Kazooie dialogue style to be incredibly annoying, and she might leave me if that was the only way I could talk.
Yeah, I think I'd also go Star Fox because they're very similar, but I think Star Fox is maybe less annoying in long term.
I think so. I gotta go with I think we're all going with Star Fox. Next up, $20 from our good friend Aramis Bearmus. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, GVG crew, have a great cast. Since days are getting hotter, what temperature is the cutoff for you to say, it's way too hot, I can't do yard work today? As always, love what you all do and enjoy the cast. Well, as you all probably know by now, I love the cold despite being a Los Angeles native. I hate the heat, so for me, it's lower than most. I'm going to say like 75.
What the
78 maximum. Like,
Thank God you live in an apartment.
I know. 75, you know, at 75,
I mean,
ideally,
I'm going to say, I was going to say 60 just because I don't like doing yard work. So it's like, I don't want to go outside anyway.
Right.
But seriously, it's like 90.
Man, I'm a zony at this point. So it's like 105 or so. Because if I bail out at 90, that's like 6 months out of the year that I can't maintain my yard.
Yeah.
It sucks. I feel terrible afterwards, but I kind of can power through the 90s into the 100. But then it's like 105. I step outside and I'm like, I'm melting now.
Right. Oh man. I mean, I'll say 75 is my preference for the maximum, but 80 is probably like my actual cutoff. But on the other hand, I can go out in shorts and a t-shirt down to like 40 degrees. So it goes both ways. I enjoy, a little bit of immunity to the cold. So yeah, it works both ways. Next up, one more super chat for now, then we'll move on. $4.99 from Mick Spunk. I love that name. Thank you, Mick Spunk. Haven't been able to play Zelda yet. I just wrapped up my last semester. Very excited to finally try it out. Nice to watch GVG live again, too. Well, we're happy you're here live.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And one of us, I'm so glad I'm not the only one who has barely gotten to touch Zelda yet or not played it yet.
There are 3 of us at GVG who have completed the game.
Right.
No, well, beaten the game, rolled credits on the game. So spoiler discussion coming soon, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, speaking of Zelda, I know you want to talk Zelda, Steve, and we're about to talk Zelda. So moving on with the news, Zelda producer Eiji Aonuma has said, and he kind of said this about Breath of the Wild too, but he's doubling down. He says Tears of the Kingdom will be the quote-unquote new format of the series going forward. And I'm curious about how we all feel about that. Steve, I'll start with you.
So I'm sorry, repeat that one more time. It's like the way the series is going to be going forward.
Yeah, like he says that Tears of the Kingdom will be the quote unquote new format. So the gameplay style.
I think that is as true as it was for Breath of the Wild insofar as there's definitely a template that's kind of been laid, right? The same way Ocarina of Time generated a template for AAA Zelda that lasted all the way through to Breath of the Wild. So I really think all that means is like, yes, open world Zelda is the future. Like we're going to iterate on this idea further and further, but it doesn't mean like, oh, hey, you're going to have Ultra Hand and Zonai abilities in every Zelda from now on.
Yeah.
So I think it's really, I think we all knew that 7 years ago when we got Breath of the Wild, or 6 years ago when we got Breath of the Wild. So it's not horribly surprising. I think it's just kind of telling people like, yeah, this game that sold 10 million copies in 3 days, we're going to do that again. Like,
yeah, it is the fastest selling. It's the fastest selling Zelda game of all time, as you just said, Steve. 10 million copies in 3 days. That is crazy. So, we can't obviously blame them for doubling down.
I mean,
on that.
and you see, it's interesting to see this now because I think when the Switch came out, a lot of folks that weren't in our specific sphere of games journalism took a wait and see approach. They're like, well, Zelda looks cool, but I'm a PlayStation guy, for instance. You see a lot of your traditional PlayStation and Xbox like personalities tweeting about Tears of the Kingdom nonstop. Like Greg Miller, I think 4 times now has just tweeted the word Zelda.
Right.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, from everything I hear, it sounds like they really refined the formula this time. And it also kind of shows that Aonuma is like the master of reusing assets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's
between Majora's Mask and now this, like, granted, the reason it took that long seems to be because of all the new systems in place, not because of the world building. I could see them like taking this idea and just making a new Hyrule for the next system.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I think that, like you said, Aonuma just kind of he took the world of Breath of the Wild and made it unrecognizable while still being the same world. Like, and that's really impressive. That's an impressive feat to, I mean, I played Breath of the Wild 2 weeks before Tears of the Kingdom came out. I finished another playthrough and I thought it would help me. I thought I'd be like, oh, well, this is here and this is here. And I know how to get to all these important Nope, sure didn't. Not at all.
Yeah. I have vague memories. I'm like, I don't think this is the same as it was. Like, nothing feels, other than like when I got to Kakariko, nothing feels that familiar.
Yeah, as Cutie Caitlin points out, Aonuma didn't direct this game. Aonuma produced it. I didn't recognize the name of the director for this game, and I wonder if that's kind of the gradual ascension we're seeing of folks through the ranks at Nintendo at this point. Because obviously Miyamoto is going to retire at some point, and it almost seems like it'll be between potentially like Takashi Tezuka or.
So I thought so. It's Hidemaru Fujibayashi, who got his start as the director of Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Also handled Four Swords, Minish Cap, and Skyward Sword. He's been the director of most Zelda games up to this point. And yeah, I
was going to say
learned.
Yeah, within Nintendo, traditionally the producer is like the overseer of the whole thing, who sets the tone of what's going to be made, but isn't in the trenches necessarily implementing any further, right? So I still think Aonuma deserves a ton of credit for the success of these games. Everybody does though. Like, that's not to say that games are made by one person.
Of course not. Yeah.
If there's one thing I've been learning from Zelda, it's just there's so many names beyond. Like, again, Miyamoto's the shepherd. Aonuma becomes the shepherd, but there are all kinds of little details that come in, and it's one of those things where Nintendo always fosters new talent. That's been their thing for the longest time, and if you've not heard Aonuma's backstory, you were in for some surprises when I get to it in the part 2. Just
Homeboy has he came up pretty hard through Nintendo. It's very interesting. Like, I love this. I saw a tweet from Schreier, Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg, about Tears of the Kingdom, and he was like, what developers are starting to realize now that this game's out is the value of retaining your talent. Like, they're like, Nintendo can execute on this because they don't let their people go.
Right.
Yeah. And that was a thing kind of shepherded by Iwata, because he is the rare CEO that took a pay cut himself rather than lay off a bunch of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it pays off. Clearly, I don't think there's any arguing, especially now that Nintendo is, one of, if not the absolute most talented development house on earth.
Oh, I think that's pretty. I think that's a perfectly fair assessment. I mean, the talent there is off the charts, and they're so consistent. I mean, they don't always hit, of course, but when they really hit, they really, really hit, and they're so consistent with it.
John, Daniel, and I talked about this in our Zelda kind of preview discussion that we did earlier this week. I'm losing track of time, but it's you see like other developers openly praising the hell out of this game. Like there were folks from like Naughty Dog that were saying like, how did this happen? Like, how does this exist? Somebody broke down the recall system and how crazy that is from a coding perspective to make work. They're like, they literally were like, I don't understand how this works, especially on the Switch. They're like, they took 100 apples, like 100. They collected 100 apples, threw them everywhere, and realized that there was like, they couldn't find a limit to how many items the game tracks. They're like, I was able to recall 100 apples that I laid all over the ground. I was like, that's insane.
That is so true, especially on such, relatively ancient hardware. Like, the fact that they can do this on the Switch of all platforms is incredible. Like, I always have immense respect for game developers, but this is just, I've only played 2 hours and already I've only done Ultra Hand, and I'm like, how do they do this?
Here's the other thing. It's only like it's big for a Switch game, but still, it's only 16 gigs.
Right.
Yep.
Think of some of the biggest like updates for like Call of Duty are 3 times that size.
Oh, right. Yeah. I downloaded Jedi Survivor on PS5, and I want to say that game's like 120 gigs.
Yeah. And what's even more incredible about, or just as incredible about this, is you've got the same huge world from Breath of the Wild, but then there's the sky, and then there's another element that I won't mention because maybe some people don't know about it. But you took the same world, made it even bigger, and there's no loading at least between the sky and the surface. Like, and it still looks as good as it does. Yes, I know it's the performance isn't always up to par, and it doesn't look nearly as good as it could if it was on more powerful hardware. Sure. But it still looks damn good for what the Switch
style
is
carries that a
capable
lot,
of.
and I've honestly not run into performance issues.
Yeah, right. I would say the performance is really solid. The only thing that I'll say that I wish that I think like, man, this would have been better on PS5 is the shrines. And I only mean insofar as the opening to the shrines. Like, I want them to ratchet and clank the heck out of that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would have been so rad. That would have been just this moment, but it doesn't need it. It's just one of those things that would have been like, I would have like dropped my controller.
Right. Going back to what Aonuma said really quick, I guess I might be the voice of relative dissension here. I totally get why they're doubling down, obviously, on the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom style. And I love Breath of the Wild, and I'm sure I'm going to love Tears of the Kingdom. That said, I wish they weren't necessarily throwing out the old. I do, and I am going to miss...
See, here's the thing. I don't think they are. Because...
I wonder...
This was 6 years of development, Ash.
Right.
Boy, it sure would be good to have a nice, easy 2D Zelda to fill in those gaps.
No, you're right. Let me clarify. I think 2D Zelda is going to continue for sure. I just mean, and I realize that most people probably would see this as a step back, but I am going to miss the pre-Breath of the Wild era of 3D Zelda games. And I know people are getting tired of it by Skyward Sword. I get it. But I am going to miss that more guided linear experience because, as you guys know, I'm not big on open world games in general, even though I love Breath of the Wild. And so I'm just a little bit sad about it. I get it. It makes sense. But I don't personally love that. I wish we could maybe get that, old style of 3D
I get it, but the way Link Between Worlds handles it, not Link Between Worlds, but, Zelda handles it, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, it's amazing how much it pulls you in. And I think having 2D experiences, or maybe just like, we could get to an age where it's throwback to N64 graphics, PS2 graphics.
That'd be wild. Yeah.
And have games like that.
Yeah. So, I get it. I do wish we could maybe get another game in that style eventually. Maybe we will. Who knows? I still think it would be really hype if we got like a full on from the ground remake of Ocarina of Time. That would be like the current generation visuals. Just redesign that game with current tech. I think that would be so exciting, but we'll see what happens. But I definitely get why they're doubling down on this being the standard format going forward.
I think it's like a generational difference, right? A lot of game design concepts are born of hardware limitations.
True. Yeah.
And you can see, and I talked about this in my own, one of the videos I've done talking about Zelda, where you can see the beginnings of Breath of the Wild as far back as Wind Waker. Like that desire to have a big open area for Link to explore without limits. But the GameCube and then later the Wii hindered the ability to fully execute that vision. Skyward Sword would have been a very different game running on today's hardware.
So true.
So I think this is where they've wanted to go, and this is where they've wanted to evolve 3D Zelda into for a long time. But we finally have the capability to match the ambition. That being said, I totally agree that a more guided experience can also be fun. I see them making almost like a B tier system for Zelda. And that's a horrible way to put it, but it's kind of the same thing we have with Mario now.
It'd be a great way to get newcomers up to par, see who stands out.
Exactly. You talked about that talent piece, about nurturing talent. That's how you do it. Give them a smaller title to work on, and then have them eventually graduate to like the primary AAA development team.
Yeah. That is a really good point. And I do hope we see a new 2D Zelda somewhat soon. Obviously, there's the afterglow of Tears of the Kingdom that's going to last for a long time, as it should. But I do hope the next thing they announce on the Zelda front is a 2D game. It would be really nice to see. even if it was a port of A Link Between Worlds, which wouldn't be as cool without the 3D effect, as I just love the verticality you get from it. But I'd still love to replay that, on the big screen. I think that would be really exciting.
I think our next Zelda is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on whatever the next hardware is. I think they know they've kind of put themselves in a position where they can't launch their next hardware with Zelda.
That makes sense.
But they'll have a Zelda game there for us to play.
Right. I wonder if maybe we'll get Oracle remakes done in the style of Link's Awakening, possibly. That would be cool too.
That'd be cool.
I love those games. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Up to something.
I can't wait, obviously, to play more Tears of the Kingdom. This weekend's going to be finally coming home. I can't wait. All right, let's do a few more super chats, and then we will move on. Move right along. So next up, we've got Kaiser the Fighter with $5. Thank you so much. What fighting game franchise do you want to see as an anime adaptation? Me, personally, I would love to see a Soul Calibur anime one day. I think that would be really cool. I agree. Depends on, obviously, this is the easy answer. Depends on if you count this or not. Smash Brothers. This was the one thing that I would like to see made into an anime more than anything, fighting game-wise. That said, though, I would like to see them take another crack at Street Fighter. I mean, I love that universe so much. And obviously there has been Street Fighter anime movies and a really bad Street Fighter Western cartoon. But I'd like to see them go all in on like a really good Street Fighter anime, because I love that world. I love those characters. And I think if done right, it could be really exciting. And I know that's kind of the standard answer, but that's how I feel.
I mean, you stole both of my ansers. So I was literally going to give that exact word-for-word answer. Well, so I'm just going to say co-signed.
Cool.
Yeah. Man, I really like Dragon Ball FighterZ. They should make something out of that.
They should.
I feel like that'd be a good anime.
That'd probably be a great anime. All those
I know, right? They could really flesh it out, just show how Goku went from being a kid all the way to all that other crazy crap he does. I don't know. There's a lot of potential there. No, I honestly like Bolt Mouse X's in the chat. Rival Schools. Rival Schools.
Hell yes. Rival Schools would be so cool as an anime. And, I got to say, because they double down on just the weird wackiness of Tekken's story, I think Tekken could be a really cool anime, too. Like, that story goes
it's on Netflix.
Places. It's just a movie, though, isn't it?
No, it's a 6-episode series.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Series. Okay, that's already been
It's
done.
basically an adaptation of Tekken 3.
Oh, neat. I thought it was a movie. All right, well, then there you go. But yeah, Rival Schools would be awesome. Also, Capcom. Remember Rival Schools? Released like a HD pack or something. Come on. Double pack. All right, one more super chat for now, then we'll move on. Our good friend RecBCQ with $5. Thank you so much. Crap, I missed the intro because I was distracted by Tears of the Kingdom.
Fair.
LOL. That is a completely fair reason. All right, moving right along. There's a PlayStation showcase next week, and if you were wondering why I put Spider-Man on the thumb, that's why. There hasn't been anything announced on Spider-Man's front, but I feel like there's a pretty good chance we might see Marvel Spider-Man 2 during this showcase. And
they just released a comic showcasing what's happened between Miles Morales and this. I think something's coming.
There you go. I think so too. And this thing is a beefy showcase. It's going to be over an hour long, and I find that really interesting and exciting, because we really, if you think about it, know so very little about what's coming down the line on the PlayStation front. Really, we know about Spider-Man, we know about Wolverine, but what else? I mean, Horizon's out, the DLC's done. I guess God of War Ragnarok DLC, but like, what else beyond that? Do we? Not much.
I don't know. We'll see what they come up with. Squire, I will say this. We are not getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news. There is no way they're putting out information of that before 16 comes out.
I wish, but no, I don't think so either.
Yeah, just not going to happen. I think one of the more likely things is, and I think a lot of people agree with this, we'll get proper gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1. I think that's one of the big things that'll premiere there.
I think that's definitely going to happen. Yeah.
Game Belt Summit, I also agree. I maybe Alan Wake 2, but definitely Silent Hill 2.
Oh, good call. Silent Hill 2. That's a good call. I forgot that was a thing. As excited as I am about it, I forgot that was coming. So yeah, I think we'll definitely see Silent Hill 2. Bolt Mouse X, even though it'll never happen. Yes, I imagine a remake of Parasite Eve almost daily. I imagine what that could be like, and I wish it would happen. But yeah, I don't know if we'll see another Street Fighter 6 trailer, the 554. No. I feel like they've already shown everything they need to with that.
They announced the DLC, did they?
They did, and they showed off they told us what the first wave of DLC.
I guess they could show off Rashid, but it feels maybe a little early.
Yeah, it does. Character. I think you know what, though? I'd give that a 50-50 shot, to be honest.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I think we're going to see the long-rumored MGS3 remake.
Ah, yes. I bet we might.
The one from Blue Point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that to me feels like it's been talked about so much and it would make a great thing to underpin like their holidays with. I agree on God of War DLC.
Hell yes.
Gosh, there was another one that obviously I think we got an extensive look at Spider-Man 2 because this will be the last showcase likely before it releases. Well, maybe it's September, right? September.
We don't know when it's coming out. It's just a holiday.
Oh, see, so I would bet on a release date announcement for Spider-Man 2. That would be what I think we're going to get a lot of stuff dated. I think it was really smart for them to put this right after Tears of the Kingdom, so that they gave it enough time for us to shut up about
it. Yeah, exactly. Vedran, that's a good shout. I don't know if I doubt it, but we do know from that leak way back, like last year, that there is apparently some form of remake of Final Fantasy IX in the works. I don't think we'll see it here, but that would be really exciting. I would pop off like hell if we saw any sort of remake of FF9. It's not going to be on the level of FF7 remake, of course, but still, any version of an FF9 remake would get me pretty excited. So, yeah, there's a lot we could see, but we know so very little. There also have been rumors swirling about a potential new Castlevania. So who knows?
You want to see me pop off?
Oh, I know you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Man Legends 3 for PlayStation 5 native.
What about Dragon Quest 3? We haven't seen anything from that in a while.
We haven't seen anything of Dragon Quest 3 HD. Is that exclusive to Switch or not? I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I don't think it is.
I don't think so. And on that note, Dragon Quest 12.
12, yeah. We might see something 12. We don't know what that's coming out for. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Looks like platforms aren't actually listed for Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah, they did not give much information on either of those.
And Alpha Line, I agree with you. I don't think we're going to see Castlevania, but there have been persistent rumors swirling around.
You know what? New game. I will take a DS collection.
Oh, hell yeah. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I think we all are. Over an hour of stuff we generally don't really know about. And a few things we do, like Mortal Kombat.
That'll be a fun reaction.
Yeah.
That's what, 1 p.m. you got for you guys, 4 for me?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Thank you, PlayStation, for not doing these 6 a.m. presentations. They always do it right in the middle of the afternoon, and I appreciate that so much.
It might also be early enough that John might be able to join. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, we'll see, because that's 9 p.m. for him, so we'll have to check in with him on that. But it's oh man, I'm excited because I feel like both Sony and Microsoft have been quiet for far too long, and so in Sony's case, I have a lot of faith that they have a lot to show us. In Microsoft's case, that's going to be Starfield.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'll put one more out there for from Capcom. I think it'd be awesome if we either got a DMC 1 remake in the style of DMC 5, or just go straight up DMC 6, Devil May Cry 6.
That would be cool.
Give me more Devil May Cry. I want that because I love Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grantles and our live audience chat, I agree. We're definitely not going to see Kingdom Hearts 4 in this thing. No. I would melt if we did, but we're not going to see Kingdom Hearts 4.
No, too early.
Way too early. Way too early. Vedran, no, it's not going to happen. Don't go there. Don't let yourself get too excited about that because it's not going to happen. All right. Let's do a few more super chats and we'll move right along. Ryan Hanley with $5. Thank you so much. Zelda will not be truly open world until one can recreate the Zelda rap in game. Totally agree. I love that commercial.
All right.
That's one of the all-time best.
I can tell you right now from Ratchet and Clank, programming every character to have a different dance animation is hell.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. Next up is $10 from Mr. One Up. Thank you so much. I love that name every time. Hey, GVG. Hope you all are doing well today. Quick question. Do you think eventually open world games will get too boring after a while, and after a while, we revert back to linear games, i.e. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and beyond? We kind of touched on this before. I feel like we've already, excluding Zelda, I feel like we've kind of already hit a bit of an inflection point with open world games where we're seeing a little bit of fatigue. Obviously, they're not going anywhere, but I feel like I've been seeing a general feeling of a little bit of open world fatigue.
Well, it's fatigue with, I think, the Ubisoft style of
the Ubisoft style. That's true. Yeah. And certainly excluding Zelda.
To be fair, I think that there is much more evolution to do in this current iteration of the open world game than people are probably thinking of. We're just entering the age of like lightning fast IO. And that what that means is that, like I mentioned, you know, it would be really cool if the shrine opened up and you just walked in and you were in it and you could walk back out into the world with seamless interaction between. But think about like other stuff you could do. For instance, right now, I don't think even on the PS5 you could do something where you could like have a character that could literally jump from town to town, right? Like leap into the air and land in another town without it having some type of obvious loading zone in between. And that stuff's only going to get faster and better as technology improves. So I think we're going to see, just like we have, I firmly believe that if you look holistically at the history of 3D games, you'll see that it wasn't a shift. It was more of a gradual progression towards this. And we're going to see a gradual progression to whatever the next open world thing is.
Perhaps. But I also think we might see the rise of AA games again, because the costs of making games
I
are
hope
just
so.
Yes.
Yeah, the costs are getting really prohibitive. And going back to what you said, Steve, that was one of the coolest things about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, is how you were able to phase through dimensions with no loading whatsoever. And it was so cool to see that happen. So I totally get where you're coming from. But yeah, overall, I really hope that, and I don't think they are going anywhere, but as someone who does really love and value linear guided experiences, I hope they're not going away. And I don't think they are, but I don't think everything needs to be open world. I do love my linear games as well. So
oh yeah, there's room for everything. And I don't think, just as, definitely, you know, we're talking about Street Fighter 6, a game that, a genre that nearly died in the 90s.
Right.
You know, and now it's experiencing a major resurgence. I think that we're going to see that, you know, what's popular ebbs and flows, right? Like right now we're in an open world thing. And eventually we are going to see people kind of wanting, you know, we talk about it all the time. Like, I don't have 100 hours. I don't have 200 hours. I want a solid 30-hour experience. So I think we are going to see, you know, the market reflect that at various points throughout our lives. But yeah, I don't think any genre will ever truly be dead and gone the same way genres of films don't just disappear.
Right.
Totally agree. All right. One more super chat for now, then we'll move right along. Purity Challenge with $4.99. Thank you. The 2017 Breath of the Wild trailer gave me goosebumps. The last Tears of the Kingdom trailer didn't provide any feels. However, the first 20 minutes into Tears of the Kingdom, I lost my shit. I think that's a pretty common feeling, and I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? It actually kind of worked out, because Breath of the Wild made you think there was going to be this epic story that really wasn't there. And Tears of the Kingdom played it under, and all of a sudden there's a much more interesting story there to discover.
Yeah, there's a lot more nuance to Tears of the Kingdom's narrative than there was with Breath of the Wild. And I really like that for it. I think that Breath of the Wild ended up giving away far too much of its plot through its trailers.
Right. Agreed. All right, I'm just going to mention this really quick because I'm personally so excited. They announced today that the Sonic Symphony World Tour it's happening. The Sonic Symphony is going to be going around the world, and it's starting with London on September 16th and Los Angeles on September 30th. I already know what my birthday gift is. I'm so excited for this, and that's all. I just wanted to say that.
Go snag me some merch, my guy.
You got it, man. You know it. But yeah, any of our fellow patrons here in LA will definitely have to have a little meetup at the Sonic Symphony if you're going to go, because I'm going to be there. So looking forward to that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our Patreon topics for the week. As a reminder, we do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/GVGaming. And if you support us at the producer tier for $10 a month, you can suggest topics for us to discuss each week, like the ones we're about to discuss now. And Derrick, why don't you get us started this week, man? If you're ready.
Let's see. Yeah. Sorry, I got so invested in the thing. I forgot to choose a topic.
No worries.
Let's see. I'll go with. We'll keep on Mortal Kombat, I guess. Here, Jack Salmons, with Mortal Kombat 1 being a new timeline once again. What characters would you like to see get dramatically different character designs compared to previous entries? We kind of talked about this before, but the big one for me, and I agree with what she says on this one, Reptile. Make him less reptilian.
Yep.
Or at least have a form where he shifts back and forth.
Agreed.
They did him so dirty. Like, he was just supposed to be a ninja, and then they turned him into like a dinosaur.
And then there's also the fact that I will always have a soft spot for Reptile, because he has my favorite fight in the original MK movie, and he was always so cool to me when I played Mortal Kombat 2. And then to just see him become a jobber in Mortal Kombat 9 and nothing really nothing of note in 10 and 11. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, it is kind of weird how he was kind of the answer to Akuma for Mortal Kombat 1, but they did him so wrong in future games that he became like a nothing character. I would have to go with Ermac, because he's another ninja that I really liked, but they started just making him like a bodiless mass of souls wrapped up in bandages. And I was like, why? Why can't he at least have a body? Like, how do you kill him? But I think that I would have been totally happy if they just leaned into the fact that they had myriad cheesy recolored ninjas. That was part of the charm for me.
Right. Mm-hmm. For me, one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters who's a little less well known is Rain, and I feel like they could do something really cool with redesigning him, because his powers are all about water and lightning, and I feel like they could just do something a little bit more than they have with that, other than just making him a purple clad ninja, which I still like. But yeah, I'd like to see Rain get some love, just because he's always been one of my favorite characters. I thought he had a slightly
different design in Mortal Kombat 11
he does.
DLC.
He does. I just feel like they could take it further.
He's
I
the
feel like
Prince of Edenia, I believe.
Oh, that I didn't know. I'm not up on my Mortal Kombat lore, but I just feel like they could take it a bit further. But yes, he does have I do like his cool redesign in 11 as well. But yeah, I just like to see what they could do if they got really creative and with his character and his design. So that's my answer. I feel like no one else would talk about Rain if I didn't.
No, I love Rain. Rain is probably one of my favorites.
I'm also with Puppy Wuppy, where I always enjoyed Smoke as a kid too.
Yes, definitely Smoke. And I mean, there's so many interesting designs in Mortal Kombat that they could do. It'd be cool to see Shiva come back. Shiva hasn't been in Mortal Kombat for a while, I don't think, right?
She was in 11.
Was she in 11?
Aftermath, right? Aftermath DLC.
Oh, she was in the DLC. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else we want to go over on this topic?
I'm trying to think of any other characters I like. Kind of any kind of dramatically different redesign. I'm not
give me Cabal without the need to wear the mask all the time. Like, give me Cabal without the disfiguring accident.
Yeah, I like that one. And I feel like maybe they could do some really cool things with Sector and Cyrax, and just really go crazy on their robot designs, and just go nuts with it. Kano too. I love Kano, and I feel like they could do something really fun with him. Maybe
I think Kano would be a good cameo character, because if you get an unaltered Cabal, he was also a member of the Black Dragon who fought very similarly to Kano.
Right.
So he could be like an Echo fighter for Kano, which would be really cool.
That's true. Puppy Wuppy, I also agree with this. Nightwolf. Nightwolf is really cool, and I could absolutely see a redesign really fleshing out that character.
He needs a redesign, man.
He does. He really does.
In 2023, that design hits very different.
Yeah, he really needs a redesign. Completely agreed. All right. Well, thank you for that topic. I'm sorry, that was Jack Salmon. Thank you so much for that topic. Next up, Steve, what you got for us, man?
I'm going Zelda. I'm keeping on the theme of the episode.
Nice.
So Dad Alpha Lion wrote, at GDC 2017, the Zelda team revealed that they created HD mockups of Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword in-house when trying to decide on an art style for Breath of the Wild. After seeing these HD mockups yourself, how badly would you want to play remakes of those games using those kinds of models and graphical fidelity? I'll link you to the video and timestamp you for your convenience. I had this question in mind from before the episode started, so I looked up the video already. So I'll just chat. I'll give you guys time to look it up. I hate them, that Alpha Lion. I hate them so much. And I'm going to explain to you why. I don't think it's necessarily bad for Twilight Princess, because Twilight Princess was like it was angling for a more realistic tone. But Wind Waker hurts my feelings to look at it with like no toon shading on it. To have like a more like materials based Wind Waker world and Link, it makes my blood boil. It's upsetting. It's like viscerally upsetting.
They are, I'm not a fan of this. Like, there's some scenes of like they have the Wind Waker characters in their element. It looks fine. The Twilight Princess stuff looks like models, like just placed like, and so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
agree.
that looks good. Wind Waker might be able to put it. You put that toon chaining on and be fine, but even like I saw the Skyward Sword link, and I'm like,
Yeah, they all look off because they're in an art style they weren't designed for, and I think that's the big thing. Like, shifting the art style of a game has a dramatic impact on how you view the world. And for me, like, as much, and I will say that Skyward Sword Link is my least favorite Link of all time. His face is upsetting to me.
His face is weird.
So I don't like him regardless. But Wind Waker Link is also my favorite Link of all time from an aesthetic perspective.
Same.
Dude looks fantastic. He's so expressive and cartoony, and to drain that tooniness from him takes something critical to his being away. And it diminishes the beauty of the world in a big way. Like, if you took, and you can even see it a little bit in Wind Waker HD, because they did make some changes, and it is worse for it, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a great game in HD, but if you compare it to the GameCube original, like, the shader change they made on the Wii U is not a good one. So it makes it look a little plastic, like a little less believable, if that's the way to say it. Not a fan of these stylistic changes.
When I first saw the one for Skyward Sword, my first thought was, oh god, it's one of those fan Unreal Engine remakes of Zelda games that has no personality.
A hire this man kind of of model.
Those type of ones, like.
You know what's interesting though, going back to what you were saying about Toon Link, Steve. I agree. When you take him out of that kind of toon shaded world, it generally doesn't work. But they somehow made it work for Smash. He doesn't look weird in Smash, and that's not a toon shaded game, of course. So it's interesting how they were able to take him out of his world where he really fits in and drop him into Smash, and it still works, interestingly.
Yeah.
Don't know how they did it, but they did it. And he obviously looks a bit more realistic in Smash, but for some reason it works. So as you just said, that Alpha Line, Toon Link and Brawl, and every subsequent Smash game. So
I think it's different though, because the world he's in kind of fit. I don't know. I just you can't give me a game and I know what it's supposed to look like, and then it looks like that. I would be like, it's wrong. It's like just wrong. I'm glad with the art style they settled on for Breath of the Wild, because I think it's a comfortable medium between the extremes that you see, like the super toony nature of Wind Waker and this kind of like experimental stuff they did for this GDC video. But it's a great question, and I would love to at some point get a very realistic Zelda on like 4K hardware. I think that would be rad. It's just I like the direction they've been taking lately too.
Right. Agreed. Well, thank you for that really interesting question, Alpha Line. It was very specific, and it was a lot of fun to talk about. Thank you. All right, my topic this week comes from Colin, who asks, "Hey GVG, with Tears of the Kingdom making me bring my amiibo out of the drawer they've been sitting in for months and years, it got me thinking. What do you think is the best amiibo? This could be the best visually, most interesting unlocks, or just whichever one makes you smile the most to look at." Well, obviously there are three best ones, and that's Mega Man, Gold Mega Man, and Mega Man 11 Mega Man. Clearly, no.
It's so okay that you're wrong.
Yeah, right. But to be fair, though, I actually really do think at the time, when the first waves of amiibo were coming out, I felt like Mega Man actually did represent a turning point because of the cool paint that they used for, like, the reflective paint that they used for his helmet, his helmet and his boots and stuff. And I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it to be like matte, and instead it's not. They made it really cool looking. So I actually do think that was a really cool turning point back then. But I just got Sephiroth recently, and I'm super impressed with how good Sephiroth looks. And
I didn't realize he was out.
Yeah, he's out. And I actually just got the thanks to Wario64, I got the Zelda and Loftwing amiibo, and
$5.
$5, and the Metroid Dread Samus and Emmy amiibo pack. And you know what? Dread Samus looks amazing. That might be one of my favorite amiibo designs so far. She looks awesome in that form, in amiibo form.
Ash. Oh, go ahead, Derek. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm looking through my amiibo and seeing the ones that stand out the most. And I got to say, just looking at them, two of my favorites right off the bat. Squishy Metroid. And honestly, the posable Guardian.
Ooh, those are
great
because it's so big, but I like that you can pose the arms a bit. There's a bit more interactivity there. I think those are two standouts, but honestly, there's a lot of good ones. There's there's just some fun ones in there.
But
those are the ones that really stand out to me.
I was going to say that I was prepared to fully disagree with you, Ash, but I do agree on one point. There are 3 best amiibos.
Okay.
And they are Yoshi, and Yoshi.
Nice.
Those are other good ones, just because that's
the Yarn Yoshi ones. That was really cool.
I wish I got the giant one. Like I never got it.
Oh yeah.
But also Poochie. I grabbed all my Yarn Yoshi amiibos.
And as Alpha Lion reminds us, the Mr. Game & Watch amiibo had multiple stands, which I thought was a really cool twist.
I have that one. The funny thing is, it made everybody wanted to have a stand for each pose. They had to buy 4 Mr. Game & Watches to have all this extra plastic.
Right. I completely forgot about the squishy Metroid one, though. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Duck Lizard. But the Banjo amiibo also is a standout. That one's gorgeous.
Great one. Also, by the way, I apologize. I used the wrong term when I was talking about the Mega Man, the paint they used. It's not reflective. It's glossy. I didn't expect them to go glossy with Mega Man's, amiibo design, and they did, and it looks really cool. So that's what I meant, not reflective. That was silly of me. But yeah, I think we went over a lot of the coolest amiibo for sure. Still crossing my fingers Sora gets one, and if it does, it's got to be great because it's Sora. But yeah, I mean, I want a Sora amiibo so bad.
They could put out an amiibo for every version of Sora's costumes, and fans would buy every single one.
I would buy every single one, and I wouldn't regret it even a little bit. So hopefully we at least get one Sora amiibo, though, and it probably would be his Kingdom Hearts 1 design, since that's the default in Smash. But either way, whatever we get, I just hope we get a Sora one. So normally, thank you for that, by the way, Colin, and normally that would be the end of our topics, but we actually only got 4 this week, which is a lot lower than usual. And
everybody's too busy playing Zelda.
Exactly. And Disney Duncan Metcalf, you have been asking the same question for like 5 weeks now, I think, and we just haven't had much to say about it, but we feel bad. We want to address it because you've been asking so long. So here we go. Your topic is, hey, GVG, there's a rumor out there about a Disney Smash-like fighting game in the works. The rumor says that a few of the characters that are in the game are Mickey Mouse, Thanos, Darth Vader, and Peter Griffin. This might be fake, but I'd like to get your thoughts on it if you think it's real. Happy vibes. Well, thank you. Happy vibes to you too. I can tell you one thing. The purported images that came out like last week of it, those are fake. Absolutely no way those aren't fake.
The thing is, I've heard, outside of Duncan, I've heard nothing about this thing, and I just have to imagine it's fake. I just can't see Disney going that way.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe too. Apparently it's going to be called, if it's real, it's going to be called Disney Domination, which already just sounds like something they wouldn't do. So I don't really think
they do have those weird, like, let's have more like redesigned badass versions of Disney characters for like their Speedstorm thing or this RPG like one. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, I just don't know that I think they would ever be cool with like Thanos beating up on Mickey Mouse. I can't see it personally. It would be hilarious if it happens, and I'd love to be wrong. I'd like to see how they could actually make it work. I just don't think it's real. I can't. Yeah.
I'm trying to look up because apparently Hungrybox, who's a professional Smash player, did a video on this in which he claims that there were actual images, like screenshots leaked of this game, and I mean,
that's what I was talking about last week. There were some screenshots that were posted on Resetera, and
this is from March of.
Oh, never mind then. Okay, that's different then.
Are you, man? Okay, here we go. This is one of those YouTube videos where they say they're going to show certain things and they don't.
And they don't.
This is this. I don't know about this. Hold on, I'm going to link you guys to this. I'm looking at this, Disney Duncan, and I know clearly from your name that this interests you quite a lot.
Yeah.
But these screenshots look fake. All right, hold on. Let me get them. There's one that's, the problem is I'm not well versed enough like in the lore of the MCU and stuff to know if maybe some of these renders came from other places. Like with Nintendo characters, I could tell you where almost any render came from. I put the link in crew for you guys.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
But the subtitles on these screenshots alone tell me they're fake as hell. And the reason I'm saying that is the photos are blurry, but somehow the text is pin sharp. And that's a dead giveaway that these are fake. Because if your camera is out of focus looking at a screen, the text will also be out of focus, which is like a newbie mistake.
Yeah. There is no way these are real.
The head shape of Mickey is completely off.
Yeah, that is really bad. It's off model, but in a big way.
It's completely off model. They're sticking him in his Kingdom Hearts, organization outfit.
Yeah.
And Donald's in his Kingdom Hearts outfit. No.
Mm-hmm. Spider-Man is movie Spider-Man from the Tobey Maguire movies. Like a lot of things, it's just not on brand for any of Disney's current MCU efforts. And the art styles are wildly different for a lot of these screenshots. Which
nothing meshes.
And to kind of grab from my, all my knowledge and history.
Also, the dialogue is so damn edgy. It's like, no.
Yeah, that, and like to kind of draw from my longtime knowledge and history of being a copy editor, Disney is such a stickler for their character names being stylized correctly. Spider-Man always has a dash between Spider and Man. It doesn't here. And then you also, in the very beginning of the first screenshot, Spider-Man's also missing his dash. But he says, apparently, Stewie, get down now. But there's no comma after Stewie, and there would be. There's no way.
Yeah. We also have Stewie saying hell, which no.
Yeah. There's no way.
But also, this is happening in front of seemingly Thanos. Like, none of it makes sense.
Yeah. I like the idea of it because it's so funny. But this is.
It seems like a really bad fake joke.
Yeah. And I just don't think it would be Kingdom Hearts Mickey either. There's just no way that it would be Kingdom Hearts Mickey.
Yeah, that seems also very weird for them to use.
So
I'm sorry, Disney Duncan. This one feels faker than the Grinch leak, which is
agreed. Oh, geez, let's never speak of that again.
I mean, there's also just like
in my life,
none of these are renders, and the Mickey clearly seems to be pixel art, whereas the others are like trying for photorealism, and then these screenshots are just these 3D models are terrible. It's very weird stuff. I wouldn't hold my breath for this to be a real thing, unfortunately.
Agreed. But I hope you're happy that we finally did address this topic, and thank you so much for asking it week after week. We really appreciate it. And that does bring us to the end of our Patron topics and just about to the end of the show. Thank you so much for being with us here. We love doing the show with you every single week. Certainly don't forget to check out Good Vibes Arcade over on our Twitch channel, because our cohorts, Brandon and Daniel, do an amazing job streaming cool games on Good Vibes Arcade every week. So definitely do check that out. And as always, we have to thank all of you, of course, but we also have to give a special shout out. Sorry. There are a few more super chats, aren't there?
Yes, I'm going to say, I was like...
I completely forgot that a few more came in after the end. My fault. Sorry, guys. All right. Let's see here. First off, we've got Disney Duncan, of course, with $2. Kingdom Hearts 3 PS5 remaster. I could see it.
Maybe, but I doubt they'll spend the time.
I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't do as well as Square Enix hoped. I could be wrong on that.
I don't know how well it did, honestly.
Actually, I don't know the sales on that. I feel like it probably sold pretty well. Oh, it's apparently as of September 2021, it sold 6.7 million units.
I stand corrected. It feels like it just got quiet about it very quickly after release.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I imagine they have to be pretty happy about that. Next up, Kaiser the Fighter with $5 asking, what was your favorite avatar customization in games?
Ooh, that's tough. I've played with some really powerful ones. Street Fighter 6 has a really fun one if you've played that beta.
Yeah. I don't play a lot of games
demo, not beta.
Right. I don't play a lot of games with customizable avatar characters usually, but I will say I did have a lot of fun messing around with the one in the Mass Effect trilogy. For me, I eventually went with default male Shepard because it was literally impossible for me to make a custom Shepard that wasn't just god-awfully ugly. But it was funny. It was funny, though.
See, that's the thing is I a lot of times, and it's the same, certainly the case for Street Fighter 6 as well, I suck at making a character that looks decent.
Yeah, same.
So I appreciate ones that kind of keep them in presets that keep it looking decent. So I appreciate the ones in Xenoblade Chronicles X, Final Fantasy 14. You can't screw up a Final Fantasy 14 character. You will make a gorgeous looking character.
That's a good point. Yeah, I actually made a pretty cool looking character in 14.
I'm going to give you all the inside track on this one. The best one is from a game that's not out yet, but you can download the character creator demo on PC now. Blue Protocol.
Oh, okay.
You can, like Derrick, you said, there's no way to make an ugly character in this game. Like, there's no way to do it, and it's anime as hell. It's toon shaded, just like Wind Waker. but it's like got an anime as hell aesthetic to it. It is sweet. Vash in our community turned me on to it, and I've probably made 60 characters gorgeous. Since then. Yeah, it is wildly good looking.
Squire, that's a good one in our live audience chat. Miitopia on Switch. I completely forgot about that, but yeah, Miitopia had a cool like Mii character creator that went far beyond what you could actually just make on, you know, the Mii Plaza or the Mii default stuff on 3DS and Wii U. But yeah, that's a good one. Amy's here. Monster Hunter Stories 2. That's a great one too, Amy.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah,
that is a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that. Sorry, Kaiser. Next up, Disney Duncan is back again. Thank you so much. $2 more. Sora is the best amiibo because we haven't seen it. Fair point.
It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah. Next up is a new name for us, Austin Slaybow. Thank you so much for $4.99 with some very kind words. First time being able to watch GVGcast live. I love your streams and they brighten my day. Well, thank you very much for that, Austin. So that's so kind of you. And your question is, what is your favorite pastime excluding video games? There are things other than video games. That's crazy. Well, I know hanging out with my wife doesn't count because that, of course, is an easy answer. Honestly, probably being out in nature. I like hiking. I like just walking and taking walks. But yeah, I really love hiking. You know, maybe swimming or like jet skiing. I love the water. So like swimming and jet skiing are like two big ones for me.
I used to read a lot, but I don't get a chance as much anymore. But I've always enjoyed watching movies when I can. Don't get to do that much anymore either, but movies, yeah.
You guys are so well adjusted. I like manga and anime, bro.
Well, that's...
I mean,
I video game adjacent.
That's included.
I was going to say that, but I was afraid that you guys would say the same, so I didn't want to like all have the same answer. But yes, I love anime. And I love manga too, but I feel like I read less manga than I watch anime. I love anime. The thing is, for me, I'm so behind on it because all my free time, when I get it, goes to games. And so I just don't have time for both. But I do love anime.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of where I'm at with it. I agree that it is so close to video games that it almost doesn't count, but I couldn't not mention it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that, Austin. Next up is Disney Duncan with 2 more super chats. Jeez, thank you so much.
3 more.
3 more now. That's true. First up, $5. Thank you. If I can't get my Disney Smash game re-released MVC or Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for modern consoles, so I can get Marvel vs. Capcom 4. I can dream because it ain't happening.
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
I would love that too, but yeah, I don't think it's happening. Agreed. And then $2 more. Thank you so much for saying I'll think of my next topic. Well, yeah, looking forward to, you were so consistent with your last one. Looking forward to seeing what your next one is. And then your third and final one, $2 more. Thank you. My favorite character creator is from Soul Calibur 6. That's a good one. I completely overlooked Soul Calibur.
I've seen a lot of people get really creative with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right. You all are so incredibly generous. I think this is going to be our last
We had one more that you hopped over. No, okay.
I know. I skipped it because we were doing all 3 of Duncan's at once. But next up, Aramis Baramis with $2 more. Thank you so much. Steve, did you have a game of the month for April?
I do. So what happened was EA offered me a code for Jedi Survivor at the very end of April. So I wanted to get time in with that game, and then Zelda happened. So what I'm doing is this week this is Friday. So next week I'm filming Game of the Month for April and getting that right out the door as soon as I can. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm rolling into 2 separate videos because I don't think it's fair to do a Game of the Month video for May and have it, I think we all know what my Game of the Month for May is. So I'm going to do instead a review of Zelda and a Game of the Month that isn't Zelda for May. So look forward to that one on May 31st.
Other games came out in May.
I know it's going to be one of those like, hey, here's a deep cut in gaming, and it's just going to be the stuff that came out. So Game of the Month for May is clearly Zelda, but I'm going to do a video to kind of go over the things that came out that we probably all didn't pay attention to.
Right. For sure. Well, thank you everyone for all those super chats. You all are so incredibly generous. A couple of things I do want to highlight really quick in our YouTube chat. Bolt Mouse X, thank you so much. Yes, the Mega Man Megamix and Gigamix manga are awesome, and you found my name in the credits because I copy edited them and adapted them. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And then El Nico 24, finally here live. Australia loves you all. Well, we love y'all too, and it's just always so humbling to hear from people across the world.
Derrick has a keen love of Australians.
Yes, he certainly does.
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, now
at least one Australian.
Yeah, one.
Right. All right. Well, now that finally does bring us to the end of episode 57 of the GVG cast. Thank you all so much for being here with us every week. We all really appreciate it. As always, we have to give a special shout out, special thank you to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make this show and everything we do happen. So thank you so much. And as always, we have to give an extra special shout out to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those amazing, wonderful, incredible folks include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Blake, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedron, Joshua Hunter, Biddy Yao, Blindman, Azran127, Black King, Pagrima, Joseph Rupkin, Titus Malvolio, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Kyle, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Showmix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goron Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Nathan Steele, Puppy Wuppy, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling.
Hi, Mom. See you soon, Mom.
Mega Amster, Skull Kid Tiger, Dark Steel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derrick, Colin, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebun, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dat Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Kyle Gamer, and Barry Rookie, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat Evie Person 5, Lady Maxillary, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Young Ant, Ryan Hanley, and last but certainly not least, our newest executive producer, The Game Jamie. Thank you all so much. It is my great honor and pleasure to read out that list. Thank you to everyone who helps make everything we do here happen. We're about to head out to our Patron exclusive post show. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Enjoy playing Zelda this weekend, everybody, because I know you are. So enjoy that, and we'll see you next week. Good night and good vibes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.